Hello everyone.
To another video. We are done with the first season of series on quantum mechanics. The first season was all about understanding the wave function, various quantum mechanical operators and quantities, some requirements to be imposed on wave functions, some topics like wave function collapse and normalization and uncertainty principle. We are now starting off with the second season. So welcome to our first video in which we will learn how to get a solution to Schrodinger's equation for wave function. And in this entire second season, we will be looking for solution to time-independent Schrodinger's equation for different potentials. So we will solve the general cases for stationary states. Like we will start off with stationary states, then the infinite potential square wave, then the harmonic oscillator, the free particle case, and some cases which includes potential energy function as a special function. So let's start. We need to solve the time-independent Schrodinger's equation. So the video will be more about solving differential equations, applying the boundary conditions and getting the value for the wave function, and finally interpreting the results. So let's start with it. So we can see that both the wave function psi and the potential energy function V are dependent on position and time. But since we are learning about time-independent Schrodinger's equation, so we will assume that the potential energy function is not dependent on time, so it is independent of time, and it only depends on the position, and the entire equation can be rewritten as shown. Note that the wave function psi is denoted with the Greek letter, which is uppercase Greek letter psi. Now the equation here is a homogeneous partial differential equation of degree 2. So we can write it in a simpler manner, like A dou 2 psi by dou x square plus B dou psi by dou t plus C is equal to 0. So we can see the wave function psi is still a function of both position and time. I have not written the bracket part. So we can write the corresponding constants, like minus h square by 2n is A, then minus IH is P, and C is a function of x. So this represents a homogeneous partial differential equation. So that can be solved with a method. So the method that we are going to use here is a variable separable method. So we can write the uppercase psi, which is dependent on x and t, can be expressed as the lowercase psi. The lowercase is written as this, lowercase psi into, which is function of position, and phi, which is function of time only. Okay, so don't get confused between the notations. The left hand side, the uppercase psi, is dependent on both x and t, and the right hand side, which consists of product of psi and phi, which are dependent on position and time respectively. Now let's make changes in this equation by putting the uppercase psi. Okay, so the left hand side says I h bar dou by dou t of putting the value so psi is dependent on x and phi is dependent on t. So that can be further simplified as now, since the wave function psi and the wave function phi are functions of position and time, So while taking the partial derivative with respect to time, we can ignore the psi, which is dependent on position only. So we can write I h psi into, now while taking this derivative, since it is function of time only, we can take the ordinary derivative, which is d phi by dt. Same on the right side. Let me write the constant part upon h bar square upon 2m. Then here we can see it is function of both phi and psi. So but it is not dependent on t, so we will ignore it and then take the derivative. Here again the ordinary derivative will be taken. So d2 psi by dx square plus v psi phi. So the equation reduces from partial differential equation to an ordinary differential equation. Now we will divide both sides by this quantity phi into psi. So dividing entire equation by phi into psi, we can see that some factor cancelled out. So on this side psi and psi cancels out. So I will write IH bar dou psi by dou t, and the psi is remaining, so 1 upon psi. Here psi cancels out, so minus h bar square upon 2m d2 psi by dx square 1 upon psi, which is remaining, plus v is function of x. Now we get this equation whose left side is totally dependent on time and whose right side is totally dependent on position. So both the sides are changing in different domains. So one is in time and other one is in position, and it is true only if both the sides are constant, because if we make any changes in the time part, so on the left side some values will be changed, but right side will remain unchanged. So that is not true, because both the sides has to be equal. So it is true only if both the sides are constant. Since both the sides of the equation are constant, let's equate this left side of the equation. Let's equate this left side as a constant. So d phi by dt into phi equal to some arbitrary constant e. This is not arbitrary constant. We will make use of this quantity. It is of our interest, but for now let's say it is some constant. So this equation is of our interest. Now putting this value of e here, we can rewrite the expression as, first let me write this right part. So h bar square upon 2m d2 psi by dx square 1 over psi plus v is equal to this left hand side part e. So if I multiply the equation overall with psi, both side with psi, so h bar square upon 2m d2 psi by dx square, multiplying it with psi, so psi and psi will get cancelled, plus v psi is equal to e into psi. That's it. This is the main time independent Schrödinger equation that we were looking for. So throughout this series we will play with this equation by solving the equation for various potential energy functions, v, which is dependent on x only. So make note of this equation. We are going to use it in other videos also. And now let's get back to this equation. So we will just solve this equation by using differential equation technique. So we can write everything as, okay, I think I made a mistake in this part. This expression was supposed to be written as IH bar d psi by dt 1 upon psi is equal to A. Please recheck this equation. I have made a mistake. Instead of dividing it by psi, instead of dividing it by phi, I have multiplied. And okay, we will just separate the variables now. So on the left side we have d phi by phi is equal to, we can take this dt to the right side, E and IH. Okay, so E by IH bar into dt. And the right hand side we can further simplify, as we can multiply the numerator and denominator with I. So the denominator is I square, so we get minus I e dt by h bar, and left side is d phi by phi. Okay, so we can now integrate both the sides. So we get, on the left side we get integration of 1 over phi, which is ln of phi, and on the right side we get the simple I e t over h bar plus c. So we can write everything as, so let me write it as C1, and we can further write as phi is equal to C into e to the power minus I e t over h. So this C is actually is equal to e to the power C1. So this is also constant, so there is nothing wrong in writing this as a constant multiplied with a constant, and we will ignore this C also to make things more clearer. And here now we can see that phi, which was function of time, is dependent on time only, the factor t. So at the start of the video we wrote that since the differential equation can be solved by a separation of variables, so the variable we got here, the value of y, we can put it back. So we will back substitute everything in this main view function, which is dependent on both position and time. So it is equal to psi into phi, which is value minus I e t by h, and this psi is dependent on x. And this is the solution we get by solving the partial differential equation. We have generalized the time independent Schrodinger's equation, and the solution to the main wave function, which is dependent on position and time, can be expressed as this. So our job is to find this wave function psi of x, which will differ for various potential energy functions. So that is for another videos, in which we will take example for different potential energy functions. So we will solve for that and find the value of psi, and this factor is always going to be with our solution, so we don't have to worry about this part. So far we have learned these two main equations. So we have derived the time independent Schrodinger's equation, and we have got the general solution for the wave equation, which is dependent on, like, we have got this general solution for this time independent Schrodinger's equation, for which we need to find this part, and we get the general solution which is dependent on both position and time by multiplying this factor. In simple language, we will be given some potential energy function. So this is potential energy function, which is function of x. So it depends on position. So by plugging in that value, we will solve this differential equation, which will spit out this wave function psi, which is dependent on position. Again, the entire equation is dependent on position, so all the functions and operators. And by getting that psi value, we will plug it in the main equation here, which says capital psi, that is uppercase psi, is lowercase psi into this factor e to the power minus I e t by h. So by doing that, we get the general solution for the given system. Now what do we do with this separable solution that we have got? We don't have any potential energy function for now, so we will see what we can make out of it. So in first case, let's just find the expectation value of, sorry, not expectation value, but let's just take this probability density. So psi square is equal to psi star into psi. So psi star is complex conjugate, and we can write everything as psi of x into e to the power I e t by h. Sorry, so psi star into e to the power I e t, since there is no minus sign because it is complex conjugate, into psi of x into e to the power minus I e t by h. Okay, so in the second part, the function is written as it is. So product of these two will give psi star, this is lowercase psi, so psi star into psi multiplied by, so we can see that this exponential will cancel out, so e to the power e t by h minus I e t by h. Okay, so the entire thing can be now written as psi star into psi, and on the left side we have this. This can also be written as some mod of psi in this term. Okay, and here we can see that the probability density function mod of psi the whole square is no longer dependent on time. So the entire system, like we make use of this probability density function for finding the position of a particle. So we can say that the entire system has stationary states. The probability density is independent of time. We can also write so if we were to find expectation value of some function q which is dependent on x and p, so if we find expectation value of this function, what we will do is use the definition for expectation value, that is integral from minus infinity to infinity psi star into this quantity, this observable q, and in terms of its operator, and then psi dx. So if we integrate this, we will get expectation value for this observable. Only thing we need to do is change this observable in its operator form. So x bar and x hat and p hat are the operators, and by doing that we can get the expectation value. And it is interesting to see here that this operator is sandwiched between psi star and psi, but as we can see that psi star is no longer dependent, the product of psi star and psi is no longer dependent on time, and both the operator here are not dependent on time, because the p the momentum operator can be written as I h bar dou by dou x, and position is as it is. So everything here is dependent on position and not in time. So we can say that expectation value of any operator, any observable is independent of time. So our first takeaway from this separable solution will be that the expectation values are independent of time. Okay, so now let's define the total energy of a particle. So in classical mechanics, we can write total energy of a particle as its kinetic energy and its potential energy. So in classical mechanics, we call this sum of kinetic and potential energy as Hamiltonian of a system. So H, the Hamiltonian H of a system, is equal to kinetic energy, which has a general form, can be it can be written as p square by 2m, where p is the momentum, m is the mass of a particle that is being studied, and potential energy we can for this case, time independent case, we can consider that it is a function of x only. So V is the potential energy function, and V is potential energy, and kinetic energy is written as this. So this is the sum of potential and kinetic energy, and it is collectively called Hamiltonian of system. Okay, so we can now write this Hamiltonian in its operator form. So Hamiltonian in its operator form, because we can see that this Hamiltonian is dependent of the position x and p. So we can definitely write it in the operator form. So p square by 2m plus vx. Now p is minus ih by dou psi by dou x. Keep this in mind, we are going to make use of this again and again. So 1 over 2m ih dou by dou x the whole square plus v of x. Okay, so let's simplify everything. Now Hamiltonian operator can be written as, first we will write the constant part. So this is h square and I square, so this will give minus h square by 2m dou 2 by dou psi, dou 2 by dou x square plus v of x, and this is in operator form because we can see that the expression consists on the right hand side. The expression consists of the operator, the differential operator dou 2 by dou x square. So we can call it an operator. So h hat is an Hamiltonian operator. But this right hand side is familiar to us. We have seen it before in the time independent Schrodinger's equation. So time independent Schrodinger's equation was h bar square upon 2m d2 psi by dx square plus v psi is equal to e psi. Okay, so we can see that these two equations are similar. So we have this part h square by 2m dou 2 by dou x square, h square by 2m dou 2 by dou x square, and v. So since this is an operator, we need to operate it on some function. So in this case it will be this wave function psi. So we will now operate this Hamiltonian. So h bar psi is equal to, on the right hand side we have minus h bar square upon 2m dou 2 by dou x square plus v psi. Okay, this is time independent Schrodinger's equation. Okay, so we can see that on operating this function h square by 2m, we get dou 2 psi by dou x square plus v psi, which is exactly as this left hand side. So we will write it as h operated on psi is equal to e of psi. So we can say that this expression right here is shorthand notation for time independent Schrodinger's equation. And now let's calculate the expectation value of this Hamiltonian part. So expectation value of Hamiltonian is equal to, by definition we can write that psi star into psi dx. Okay, so this is by definition. We are finding the expectation value of Hamiltonian operator, and we get this. Okay, but we can see that h and h psi is nothing but e into psi. So h operated on psi is nothing but e into psi. So we get psi star into e psi dx, and e here is a constant. It is dependent on time, so we can take that out and write everything as e integrated psi star psi dx, and this is nothing but the probability density function integrated from minus infinity to infinity. So we will get the same result. Sum of all probabilities is equal to 1. So overall we get that expectation value of Hamiltonian operator is equal to E. So far we have been treating this E as a constant, but we can see that like Hamiltonian is a sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. So both of these terms are energies. Okay, so when we find expectation value of an Hamiltonian of a system, we get this constant E, which has to be E, because if we find expectation value of a position, we get position. Same for momentum. When we find expectation value of a momentum, we get momentum on the right side. Same way, when we find Hamiltonian of a system H, we get E. So we can, from now on, we can denote energy as E. So energy, so this constant that we have been treated so far can be written as energy of particle, and this is a very important thing to note. So let's see what we get if we operate the Hamiltonian operator squared on a wave function. So we can write it as h hat operated on h hat psi. So the product of these two will give this operator. So we know that this is E into psi, so h bar operated on E psi, and again since this is E is constant, so we will take it out and again operate on this wave function. By the way, hey, yes, I am talking to you. Hi. Okay, so this is again E into psi, so E into psi, and this will collectively give us E square psi. Therefore h bar square operated on psi is equal to E square psi. Again, we can make use of this h square operator to calculate the expectation value of x square. So by definition, we can write it as psi star h hat square into psi dx, and we can see that it is nothing but that is h hat square operated on psi is nothing but E square psi. So we can again write it as psi star E square psi dx, and we can take this constant out. So E square is out and we get psi star into psi integrated with respect to x, and this right hand side is again equal to 1, numerically equal to 1. So we can write everything as E square into 1. So expectation value of h squared is equal to E squared, and we can make use of these two expectation values to calculate the variance of Hamiltonian. So variance of a Hamiltonian is equal to expectation value of Hamiltonian squared minus expectation value of Hamiltonian the whole squared. So we have this value that is equal to E square minus we have this value also. So expectation value of Hamiltonian simply is equal to E the whole square, and this totally is equal to 0. So we get that variance of a Hamiltonian is equal to 0, but each sample in this system while calculating the Hamiltonian will take the same value. Since the variance is equal to 0, this means that each sample of Hamiltonian will take the same value and the distribution will have no spread. So the conclusion will be like if we make a measurement on the system for calculating its energy, we will always get the value E for every measurement. This will not change because the variance is 0. So each time we will get this value E while making the measurement on the system. and for measurement of that, like while measuring a system's energy, we will make use of this Hamiltonian operator H hat. So we will make use of this so we will make use of Hamiltonian to be operated on a system, and so making measurement on energy of a system, we will get this value E. So our second takeaway from the separable solution will be that every measurement made on the system for finding its potential energy will return the value E, because as we have seen that variance of Hamiltonian is 0. That means that whatever energy we get, it will not change. So every measurement will spit out this value E. So the distribution has 0 spread. Moving on, we have this time independent Schrodinger's equation here, and we will find we find solution for various wave functions. So it is from this equation we get infinite amount of solution, separable solution. So we will get many psi 1, psi 2, psi 1, psi 2, and like that we will get infinite amount of separable solutions. Same way we will get infinite amount of energies. So E1, E2, so we will get energies like E1, E2, ... So there will be infinite amount of energy associated with each wave function psi, which is dependent on position. So we can make use of this separable solution to write the main Schrodinger's equation. So we can make use of these separable solutions, that is these values. So collectively I can write this wave function as psi n of x. So set of all these values and this as En. So it is in more generalized form. So we can make use of these wave functions and energies to construct a main wave function. So our general solution, the most general solution, so that will be linear combination of all these phi's and e's. So we will see, so phi 1 of x into e to the power minus I E1 t by h plus psi 2 x e to the power minus E2 t by h. So like that there will be infinite amount of such terms. So we can write everything as sum of psi n x e to the power minus I e n t by h. But we need to be careful while taking this linear combination, because sometimes the wave function might take a constant multiplier with it. So we will multiply everything, like every separable solution, by some constant C1 and C2, like that. There will be set of constants, and we will write each associated constant with the wave function, and collectively we can write it as Cn phi n of x into e to the power minus I e n t by h, and everything is summed over this index n, which runs from 1 to infinity. So this is what we get. So the general solution to Schrodinger's time independent Schrodinger's equation is linear combination of Cn's, phi n's, psi n's, and the energy En. in the way that is shown. So we can write that some state of wave function, let's consider first state, which is dependent on x on t, can be written as psi1 of x into psi1 of t, but this part is, we know it can be written as e to the power minus I e1 t over h. So same way other states can be written as psi of 2 is equal to psi2 x into e to the power minus I e2 t by h. So that way we can write every possible separable solution. So there are infinitely many such solutions. So finally the general solution x and t can be written as summation of some constant cn's and all these quantities x t. So all these general quantities psi of n, which dependent on x and t. So the linear combination of all this will give the general solution. So the third takeaway from this separable solution will be that the separable solution that we get, for example psi of 2, which is product of psi and e to the power minus I e2 t by h, it is independent of time, because we can, if we were to find probability density of psi2 squared, we can write everything like first we will write this term psi2 star into this complex conjugate e to the power I e2 t by h, and everything is multiplied by psi2 e to the power minus I e2 t by h. Okay, so we can see that this factor cancels out and we are left with the mod psi2 squared. So we can see that this separable solution that we get, the product of these two terms, is independent of time, and the general solution we get, like this general solution psi, is not independent of time. So the main takeaway is that the separable solution we get is independent of time, but the main solution, while generalizing it, is dependent on time. Okay, so that's it for today's video, and today we learned how to derive the time independent Schrodinger's equation. Then we found separable solution for the given differential equation by solving the Schrodinger's equation. Then we made 3 interpretations out of those separable solutions, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like the video, comment if you have any doubt, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends.